Hello and welcome to this 101v1 game played on Airport Duel between Basic Microwaving playing as 24th, which is a really good div now, especially on this map actually, because of all the Bradleys with the open ground. He's going up against Bueno, which is a really bad div now. It started off average and then it got nerfed three times, one of which was like an indirect nerf, the nerf to self-propelled mortars. But they nerf the tanks and they nerf the planes. Um, and it's just a ridiculous. It's honestly it just upsets me every time I see the div now. Anyway, let's go through the deck reviews. Right, so this is the deck review for Jopemies. He's playing Bueno. Bueno is no bueno. It really is quite a bad div, and then they nerfed it, which is honestly. Anyway, I recommend not playing Bueno. I do have a pro guide to it. The only thing that's out of date is the arty tab on the guide, but like the guide, I just never put in public access because I mean, yeah, the div's just not good. It's very unpleasant to play. His setup is pretty similar to how I've built it in the guide. We'll go through it tab by tab, but honestly, my takeaway is don't play this div. The only thing it really had going for it was self-propelled mortars and the really nice arty, but then self-propelled mortars got nerfed. The tanks got more expensive to make it fair. How does that make any sense? The div was weak. Let's nerf the tanks. Yeah. Um, can't blame Eugen for that. So, it's just I can't talk about it. Anyway, two cards of supply. So yeah, with the arty changes now, it's probably best to so on the new patch, the a lot of arty got a bit more expensive. I don't know if this arty in particular got more expensive, but it probably did. Given the way things are in, in this world. So that's a D30, right? So you probably want that because well, look, right. This thing I just don't think is very useful. HE MLRS kind of sucks. They did say they're going to buff that up at some point, but it hasn't. I'm on the Nemesis 7 patch. That's just come out. But yeah, this is just not good in my personal opinion. And then yeah, you've got 203s, 105s, and smoke mortars. I mean, I don't know if like because is it not worth paying 25 points more to get 8 kilometers more range and all this? But I appreciate the aim time goes up, and I guess this is just bait anyway for the counter battery. But you counter batterying with 17k range instead of 20k, and you get twice as many of these in a card. But the boom on this is bigger. I don't have the answers really. All I know is that this thing's not very good, sadly. And then yeah, you've got the mortars, and you might as well bring the towed ones. The self-propelled ones aren't really worth it at this point. Obviously, subject to change. So you can get three, or you can get two with smoke. Well, neither of them have AT. I'd rather get the three than the two, and then you'd have 6 CVs, and then you can get rid of this, for example. Right. This is also they're the same price, but wouldn't you rather have the one that has more availability than the one that has a smoke grenade? I mean, it's up to you. So before you had what 7 CVs, now you've got 6. These I do actually bring at 1 vet. I guess you only lose 1 more availability by bringing it at 2 vet. This is basically your man pad because this goes in a building, whereas like this one doesn't. The div's okay in team games because you get the Eyehawks. Um, yeah, Bofal's got buffed in this patch, or at least the better ones did. I don't. The aim time's gone down to 1.5 seconds basically. So is it better now? I mean, it might be, but um, the accuracy's half, right? I mean, it aims a little bit faster, but this is better against infantry, and you know, this would probably be better against helicopters because of the range. And the aim time's lower, so it would fire a bit faster. But you've got this anyway, and I don't know. Two vet in these. Okay, if you want. I don't. What difference does it make if your minigun gets slightly better accuracy? I just use these to kind of scout, so then I can just blow it up with the bomber. These are in the Paris div, like there's a remake of this in the Paris div. It's a lot better there because you get more of them. Here you only get one card of the sort of good one. And then between these two, I mean, they cost the same. But this has two payloads, but the payloads are smaller, and this has 2,000 kilos of bomb, so it's probably better to bring that. These used to drop from far away, but they fixed it because apparently this div was too strong or something. Beggars belief, honestly. Every time I see this div, it just upsets me because it it was a bad div and they made it worse. Honestly, though, if you've only got 2 cards of supply, having all this arty, especially this thing, probably not worth it. Now you've got 4 cards, sorry, 4 AP, and that would allow you to bring, you know, you could get a CV tank for your tanks, right? Or I suppose you could, you know, get the arty and get a 3rd card of supply, right, if you really want to use this. Or better yet, you know, you could, like, get those at 2 vet, and then get that 3rd card of supply, or yeah, you know, you could do this if you really want, but it's a big point investment, and then get the 3rd card of supply, because it's hard to have, to get all this firing with 2 cards of supply. You're probably going to run out of supply, frankly. It's like Hippie. Yeah, watch the guide if you want. Like, you can bring this at 2 vet, but is there really any point when you've got the one on the left, which is cheaper and sort of serves the same function as like an early game tank? Obviously, the one on the right is better because the rounds are kinetic, but it's still got no smoke and so on, so yeah. Um, yeah, I mean, SMG's got buffed in this patch. I'm pretty sure they're playing it on the one that, you know, before the patch, but yeah, it is what it is. I personally, I believe I bring 2 cards of Milans, because the idea is once you get into a situation, then you can, you know, spam out the Milan 1s, spam out the Milan 2s. It's just an idea, but you've gone for the, this thing, which is like go around the sides and annoy people. Or don't you have the Vex for that? Because it's not got the airborne forward deployment, so I just think it's crap, frankly. Just don't think it's that good. But basically, this div is just, like, you could 2-vet some of these. Do you need that much? You know, you've got a lot of infantry. This div, like, so Brunette gets the same amount of infantry. Sorry, Brunette gets slightly less infantry, but it gets way better tanks. And better Air Force, kind of. Brunette has its own problems, which is that you get destroyed by helicopters and planes. If you don't have air superiority, it's kind of hard to play it. Yeah, there's nothing I can do for you, really. Don't play the div. I mean, it's sad, isn't it? Yeah, these kind of got changed around. Like, this used to be fire and forget. Or one of them used to be fire and forget, and that made it kind of cooler because it would shoot all the missiles at once. But now they're both, at least the super one is actually better than the regular one now. That was a bit weird. Although I don't know how these suppression values are put in. Whatever. His opponent is playing 24th US, which is way better. It's way, way better, man. It's so much better, it's unreal. Yeah, because the meeps come at 5-3-2, which is just dumb. It should be 4-2-1. And these can be updated now, and you get the CEV. Yeah, a lot of things got improved on this div. So yeah, my advice would be just play this div instead. It's just way better. It's just way better. I'm sorry I'm not really giving you some deep insights here. 2, 5, 7 CVs is all good. Like, there's nothing really with this deck I disagree with. I know the guy watches my videos, so he probably just, you know, same wavelength. No infantry ATGM is really weird, actually. I'm very surprised by that. You've got so many cards, and you don't bring the infantry ATGMs. Also, don't you want the military police? Right, and like you can upvet these now. You didn't used to be able to do that. So I would actually bring the fire T. So instead of 2 cards of this, you know, because it's more like you've got 3 cards of Bradleys, right? 3 cards of M2A1 Bradleys, which are the expensive one. I was always spamming out the cheaper ones. I mean, it's just personal preference, but basically you could swap this out for that. And then, because that's still 4 cards of Bradleys, which is loads. And then, so the military police, you've gone for the bigger squad, so you can keep it with your guys. But the point of the military police is to get the vehicle, right? Because then that can go with your National Guard Bradleys and your National Guard Abrams, and it can buff them up. So I'm surprised you've gone for. I mean, this has its own purpose, which is it's kind of just like good infantry, but you've got good infantry, anti-infantry infantry, like 2 cards of 10-man squads. So I'd be tempted to bring this instead. And the Recoilless rifle's nice. And then Engineer's Dragon. I mean, now that shock does something, maybe they're actually good now. These come in a Huey, which is a pain in the neck. If they came in a Blackhawk, I'd definitely bring them, but they come in a Huey. And then, yeah, I bring the National Guard one as well because it's 2.5 points per man, and the point of this is just to hold a bit of ground, right? And soak up bullets, so I'd just bring the cheaper one because it's got the same HP. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I brought like Fireteam 84 and an M35 or something just in case I need cheap spammy infantry, because you'll notice you don't actually. It's like that'd be 55. I guess you've got the flash, but you know. I guess this would be a cheap spammy infantry kind of. You know, if you need just something to hold ground that has AT, can be worth bringing the Fireteam 84 just in a truck. It is whatever. Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, because, well, to be honest, well, this is the same price as that. And this might survive counter battery. I mean, usually it doesn't, but this has more range. So there are interesting choices now, but yeah, this one you get 1 fewer, and if it's just going to die anyway, you might as well get the one where you get more. No, no, like, yeah, like, no infantry ATGMs, no vehicle ATGMs, I mean, no sort of, like, stealthy ones. I appreciate there's a lot of Bradleys. But yeah, I'd be tempted to swap out one of these. So you've got the Flash, and you've got a 10-man kind of meaty squad, whatever you want to call it. You actually had 2. So what's the point in both of these? Do you know what I mean? Basically, I'd swap out one of these. I don't like Engineer's Dragon, but I've lost games to people buying Engineer's Dragon, so maybe they're good. But if you just compare these two, do you want 14 AP or a satchel? Just pick one. Probably get rid of the sat because you got the flash, right? Because yeah, you probably want an infantry ATGM team. It's like, well, I don't buy them that often. Great, then you can get the tow too. And then on this side, like, so I really like this because it's got good stealth, whereas all these Bradleys don't. But you know, I suppose this has mediocre stealth and this has mediocre stealth. He's not coming the ACAV. You might find yourself running out of infantry recon because you've only got 7. So the way I used to play, because I used to play this deck before all the buffs. So like this was 4-2, whatever. The slots were more expensive. This couldn't be vetted. This couldn't be vetted. This couldn't be vetted. And so I had 2 cards of these, and I would buy like all 7 of these at the start, and then the other one came in the ACAV or something like that. And yeah, I mean, obviously the deck's changed now. It's a lot better than it was before. But you might find that you just run out. Like, I use a lot of infantry recon, so I appreciate it's a 3 point slot, but you know, you could downvet your meeps maybe or something. Then you'd still have 6, and then you can get more infantry recon if you're desperate for infantry recon. But yeah, this is your kind of holding thing, right, for the start, and then this one goes with the tanks because it's got better optics and so on, and a better ATGM. Yeah, just the pivots, right? Just get rid of that. If you want to kill infantry, you got the CEV. If you want to kill a helicopter, you got the chaparrals and the stingers. You want this. It's actually really useful to buy 3 of these at the start. So the way to play this div, so you don't have the airborne forward deployment, right? But you just buy a bunch of these and this, and a bunch of like National Guard Bradleys and maybe a National Guard Abrams now. It used to be a Meep. And you sort of slowly... So you show up second, but there's a lot of you. And you just kind of walk into them. And they can't shoot as fast as you can shoot. Like, I've beaten some really good players with 24th before all the buffs on Airport. I remember... I've actually got a video. It's in members... early access. It has been for ages because I wanted to make the pro guide first and then I got sidetracked. And it's like it's a meme vid of me playing against Pick It Up, and it's definitely worth watching when it comes out if you don't have access to it already. There are over 600 channel joiners. I'm very thankful. You guys can watch it right now. And yeah, you see how I do it. And basically, yeah, you open with 3 of these, and that's your AA for your ground forces, so you don't have to, because that's 3 stingers for 80, 180 that can be anywhere on the map, and you kind of keep them together. It's much more useful than this, which, you know, the enemy helicopter can outrange you anyway. Yeah, so rather than 2 Apaches, I prefer 1 tow cobra because, you know, what if I want to kill a vehicle and not, you know, and I can spend half the price. But then you've only got 1 Apache, so it's just personal preference. 2 cards of fighters, yeah, I think that's fine. The Strike Eagle, still 1 per card. Yeah, you kind of need it, and you kind of need this as well. Even though it's bad, what if there's an enemy breakthrough? So I understand basically all of the deck, basically. I think it's both good decks. Anyway, let's cast the game. Sorry, I need to clarify. They're both well-made decks. Obviously, Bueno sucks, and so like he's making the best of a bad situation. 24th's actually really good now. Right, so with that out of the way, you know how I feel. It's very depressing what happened to this div. Yeah, let's nerf the tanks, make the tanks more expensive, because then it's fair, right? Then it's fair, because if you look at the picture for this M45 and you look at the picture for this Leopard 1, well, the M45 should go up in price. Yeah, it's like, yeah, but this unit only comes on this div, that sucks balls. Yeah, I don't care. And this bomber drops from too far away, so it's frustrating to fight this bomber. Yeah, but it only comes on a div that sucks balls. I don't care. Yeah, I honestly, it just upsets me. All you can do is make your own game. That's the only way to save yourself. You gotta make your own Warno, otherwise you're forced to put up with these things. So yeah, basically don't play this. Very sad div. Looking at the deployments. Meanwhile, 24th just got buffed loads, and now it's just crazy. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Especially on this map, 24th was already good on this map because of the Bradleys. You've got, you know, nice open sight lines for the ATGM spam, basically. So looking at the deployments, and we got the standard picket line of like M150s. Not sure why he's putting it there specifically, but okay. But yeah, on the left, it's going here. I prefer it there because then you got more range, but I suppose here you can shoot down this road. Interesting. And then National Guard Scouts, and the big Bradley going there in case somebody pushes here, I suppose. Oh no, I see he's planning on pushing here. Then you got 2 M60s, a mortar to smoke off this ATGM if it's there, Bradley, CEV, Abrams, Chaparral, and the cheapo CV on the right, another cheapo CV going for Bravo Foxtrot. And yeah, so he's just defending here, and he's attacking in mid, I suppose. Stinger, which, I mean, it makes sense for the division in isolation, but in this specific matchup, you'd actually rather fight in the open because that's where you have the advantage because of the Bradleys and your tanks are better. You know, heavier tanks basically. So, but yeah, this can work just in general if you're playing 24th on this side. It usually makes sense to attack here because you've got the CEVs, and so the ATGM gets in here, CEVs in range, and it just plonks him, and then you fight with loads of infantry here. But the thing is that this div has good infantry, and so this div is actually stronger here. Compared, this div is stronger everywhere than this div. Okay, this div sucks, but comparatively speaking, this div would have a better chance in this fight than it would in this fight. So it depends on the matchup and so on. And you know, people say, well, how am I supposed to know? Well, there's 69 divisions, which means there's 4,761 matchups. So I can't, you know, there's no list of this is what you should do, and then you gotta. It depends on the map as well. The map matters a lot as well. So yeah, it's hard to give generalist advice. So yeah, we got some more of these M150s just defending. He's got a Bradley as well. One Stinger, one Pivots. Yeah, two Bradleys with people in them. So yeah, he's just defending here and attacking on Zulu. Switching to his opponent. He doesn't get airborne forward deployment either, but you do get the Guerrilla Arrows recon deployed in a fast helo. The issue is defending that from the air, so you basically have to open with a fighter, or just take your chances. We'll see. I believe he's open fighter because there's not a lot here. Yeah, helos suck. These got the availability on these went up. You get 6 at one vet. Like they are really bad. And yeah, because the Hydras you only get 14, and the 2 times minigun does like it's better to have 250 cals than 2 miniguns. And the minigun costs 1,000 supply for 1,000 bullets, which is interesting. So yeah, he's actually attacking in the open. So we've got the Jeanettes, the tanks that don't have much range, with no smoke mortar. So that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. But yeah, he's got the TOW2 going here. Is that the right road? Probably doesn't make it. It probably is. Because you got to turn... Yeah, it probably is. So TOW2 here. And then... another TOW2, Batubo thing, BMR. And then, yeah, some Fusileros, some Jeanettes. Toad AA. Do you not get the... Because the recon... Sorry, the infantry CV is cheaper than this. And it goes at the same speed, I think. Because isn't it 60 points, 40 plus 20? So you'd save 20 points, which may or may not be useful. So yeah, he's got loads of Jeanettes here, but if he was attacked here, which he's clearly going to be, you need tanks here because like you've got no anti-tank apart from the infantry here. You don't have an ATGM. And the ATGM would get killed by a CEV anyway, so you need to keep that in mind. But an ATGM back here should be out of range, and it can fire all the way down this road. And you would want a tank here because, like, you've got so you've got 3 infantry, but you'd only need 2 infantry and a tank basically. And like this is 70 points, and that is 85. So. Because what if there's a vehicle? Well, let's see. Let's see what happens when there's a vehicle. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to mould continuously about what they did to Bueno. They get their names on the screen, they get the videos early, they get members exclusive videos. One join at the lowest levels worth 2,000 views, so it's a great way to support the channel. This is my sole source of income. But yeah, there's over 100 members exclusive videos because it's like 1 per week. And well, I've been doing this for over 100 weeks apparently, so there are a lot. Yeah, so you would expect them to get to the same places at the same time. And you'll see how much this does. Wow. 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 Yeah, no AT. You need a... If you're going to fight here, you need a smoke. Okay, so we bought the cluster plane. I'm not sure how good an idea that is. Um, you want to evac this way, because there might have been... I mean, there was, it's just out of range. But yeah, you see the issue with these M4... It doesn't have smoke. It's not actually that slow. I'm used to, like, you know, British tanks, but yeah, he could easily move out of the way there. There we go. And this is only a tow 1, so it wouldn't have killed him anyway. So it's actually going alright for blue so far, despite... Oh, because these were swung over here. Okay. Honestly, sometimes... So I was playing Spanish the other day, the good Spanish one, the better one. And I was on this map, and I was on the red side. And I tried to spread out too much, and then the Canadian player just blew up all my stuff with air, and I couldn't do anything, because the other Spanish div gets bad AA. It gets good fighters, but not as good as the Canadian ones, which are just better versions of the same fighters. So yeah, this is, as you can see, this tank is just completely screwed, because, well, it doesn't have smoke, and, you know... So that's why you would have to bring smoke here. So that you can, you know, smoke here, and then you can get the guy with the AT up. Like, this infantry AT is nice. It's better than anything the Americans get. Actually, yes, in totality, in terms of close-range infantry AT. But yeah, look, the Bradleys just own this part of the map, so it's very hard for you to play this without the smoke. You know, it's interesting. I play against some really good players who refuse to smoke. So, look, 40 plus 20. It is actually the slower one, but you save 20 points. So, yeah, you would need the smoke here. It's the only way, really, to beat the enemy's superior tanks. But yeah, I think Bueno would have been better off fighting... right, so now you want to evac this way. He's coming over this chappie again. And this time, it gets the shot off, and he dies. So there you go. Yeah, if he'd come this way, it would have been fine. Because, yeah, you're just at such a huge disadvantage. It really is quite unpleasant. Whereas here, yes, the 24th player would still be very good because he has the CEV, which can nuke your infantry squads quite quickly. But the Bueno player with his cheaper tanks can get a load of tanks in here and push this. So basically the Bueno player attacked in the wrong place. And now he is suffering the consequences of his actions. I guess he wanted this to go here, but he accidentally pressed on the PP. Yes, that joke's been done to death. So yeah, you see, like, what's he supposed to do here? It's a genuine question. He just attacked in the wrong place. He should have come over here and attacked this. Opened 2 CVs. So, yeah, you see the infantry AT is pretty good. He should run away, though. Like, oh, the fire started and it's automatically ran forwards, not backwards, so... So now he's just dead. So yeah, if you are going to attack here, you need to get a smoke mortar, so that the enemy's superior long-range stuff doesn't just kill you. Because, yeah, like, look at the mismatch here, right? You can't survive a tow 2. He's got plenty of those on the good Bradleys. And yeah, this you would hide behind here, right? Because your infantry's actually better than his in terms of the line infantry. In totality, his infantry's better anyway because he your opponent's, because he gets the flash. So, you know, 1 flash plus 1 regular will beat you, but 1 Fusileros definitely beats 1 fire team whatever, because they've got, you know, more dudes. And you've got grenade launchers and stuff, so yeah, it would have been much better for blue to attack around here. But I suppose red, you know, he had guys going there. But yeah, because the point is the Bradleys have... they're quite expensive because they've got great ATGMs. So they're good in these long-range engagements. Whereas at close range, the tank wins, obviously, because it kills it. It's only got 3 armor. As does this, right? 3 armor for 75 points because it's got a TOW 2 on it. And the chain gun, the auto cannon's really good. So, yeah, it would have been better to attack around here, but then you have to deal with the CEV and the Flash and the 10 million National Guard M60 teams. But you would have had more of a chance at least. Look, mortars are useful now. Did you see that just stunned him? And it's dealing damage. They actually do something now. It's crazy. You see people who they don't buy a single one in the whole game. And they're like, this RT rework sucks. So yeah, rather than these, because we spoke about this in the deck review and why I think they're not very useful. Oh, it missed. It's quite surprising. I mean, it's just lost an extra pip of cohesion, but I'd bring the Milan ones in the Milan transport, and then it would be hard for red to push here because you'd have just like, several Gorillion ATGMs with grenade launchers and the AA one for the helos, and it would be red pushing across here while you're fighting here, where you have a better chance. You don't have the advantage. It really upsets me because when this div came out, it was like it was underperforming. Right? It was slightly below average basically, but it was fun. And then they're just like, let's nerf it, and it's not Eugen. Basically, there's a strike team of community members, and they have input on balance, and that's all the publicly available information there is, so I can't say any more than that really about how it works or anything like that, but it is public knowledge that there is a strike team and they decide on matters of balance in some sort of fashion. And yeah. Let's just say there are differences of opinion. So yeah, trying to go for that CV I suppose makes sense. But yeah, this is always just going to be an uphill struggle because yes, these ones have the max range, but they get one shot by the TOW 2s, and the enemy tanks have the max range, and they have a lot more armor than you, so, and they're backed up by the Bradleys, so unless you're Mega Man, you should lose that fight. I suppose this fired all of its Bradleys and so on. It fired all of its Bradleys, it fired all of its ATGMs. So, yeah, red's attacking where he's strong, right? Which is in the open. So depressing. Just gotta make your own Warno. Why don't you just make your own Warno? And you can... I do have a game on Steam, by the way. If you're a channel joiner, you get a key for it. If you just message me on the Discord or fill out the form. I don't look at the form as much as I check the Discord. I checked the form yesterday and there's like people who asked for the key 2 months ago. And I just didn't check it. So if you want the key fast and you're a channel joiner, right, then check the Discord. Just message me on the Hippie Discord, which is also in the description. So yeah, you see you use the mortars to blanket off the ATGM so they can't do anything. And so the CEV is quite popular. That was a good bomb, but sadly that Chaparral's probably going to kill him. Okay, this time it misses. So yeah, he actually managed to repel that. That bomber came in clutch. But yeah, basically, if you get good at... You'll see at the higher end, the American divs are super played. And it's because as long as you can just do this so the ATGMs can't shoot you, then the CEV shows up and it just nukes the infantry, and you've got the tanks. The tanks are all very fast, the American tanks. Well, okay, the Abrams is fast. The M60 is not fast. And so it's a very popular... So, like, there's a top player who won the last tournament who literally just only plays America. And he plays Erster Land Commando because it's broken, right? I mean, you have to appreciate that at the high end, there's the vast majority of the top level players literally just play whatever's the most OP shit they can find. The only exceptions to that are basically me, T-Man plays, and Mixed 90 plays Airborne. Nobody else plays Airborne at the high level. But he doesn't play in a bunch of the tournaments because, I don't know, well, I do, but it's probably best not to talk about it. So yeah, if you're blue in this case, you're having a very bad time because, well, what do you do now? Your division is weak in the open. It's good on the defense in the open because you get loads of ATGMs that you can put everywhere. And then, you know, when he does the whole smoke thing where you can just hide these very nice AT launchers behind these buildings and you just pop out and shoot them. And then you would have to buy flash and run the flash into the smoke, and that's kind of hard to do, and because it's only got 5 HP. If it gets revealed for a little bit, the tanks kill him. So basically, if you're blue, if you're Bueno, you want to defend here and attack here. That's your best chance. But if the game ends right now, he would actually win. It's the issue with, like, so like, as soon as that shoots, you got to move it, because it is going to get artied, but it's easy to say and hard to do, because you basically have to pay attention to every single unit you own. As soon as the AA shoots, you need to move it. As soon as anything shoots, you should probably move it, but priority should be given to ATGM, infantry, and AA, because the best way to air spam in this game is to like use a plane or whatever, something with high ECM or just something cheap, and just kind of scout and, oh, it shot me from there, and then you arty the AA, and then, you know, obviously there's less AA, and then you can continue to plane spam. So arty is a big part of air spam, which is, you know, a bit of a misnomer, but yeah, if you're blue, it's basically impossible to win this match without spamming smoke everywhere. And that was Bueno to begin with. That was always Bueno, and it was Bueno's big advantage that it gets self-propelled. It got self-propelled wheeled mortars. It still gets them. It's just now because of the setup time, they're not good anymore. They will get counter batteries, whereas before they were basically invincible. And so it's just a case of the mega micro. I'll be honest, I prefer the gameplay in general now. It's just certain divs will lose out from changes like that, and the div that lost out the most from all these changes, because grenade launchers got nerfed as well. This div gets loads of grenade launchers on all the BMR PPs, right? So this div it got a few targeted nerfs which it didn't deserve by people who just don't know what they're doing. And it also got a bunch of indirect nerfs, and so the opposite division would be something like 101st Airborne. All of the American divs are treated very, very well in this game, and a lot of that is to do with the people making the decisions. Yeah. So, you know, you would just pull that out of there immediately. You wouldn't obviously just sit there and get shot. Another thing you could do is smoke with this, and then load him up into that, and you would maybe survive. I can't remember the point I was making, but yeah. So 101st Airborne, it got the helis all became more survivable, and that was like an indirect buff. And the arty rework made all the tube, like the towed artillery, really good. And 101st Airborne gets 1 vet on its towed artillery for free, and it gets loads of good towed artillery. So that was just like a huge buff, and the helo thing was a huge buff, and those were indirect buffs, right? As in, like, they weren't, oh, let's make 101st Airborne good, right? Was that a crit? It did seem to just explode there. I don't know if... I think it was a crit. Probably would have died anyway, because, well, it was stunned and this thing was there, so... That was a good hit. It was a good shot, etc. But yeah, is he gonna try and counter battery and so on, like, these on counter battery? I think you should bring the D30 equivalents. I think they're quite strong. But yeah, making your own game's hard. I have been doing it, and it's taken me 2 years to not release. I have to delay the release because it's not finished. to make a bad game, basically. Obviously, you got to start somewhere. But... So, oh, I assume this would... Okay, so this is on counter battery. And he's put the CV next to it as well, so we'll see how this goes. Because this will start packing up now. Right, but basically these... it's just sort of... They need to buff the HE on these a lot. Because this is 155mm diameter and it's 3.1 HE. This is 300mm diameter and it's 3. So yeah, he's probably going to be fine. Because he's just moving, right? And they nerfed like the aim time on these. It was 20 seconds and they made it 30. Oh, it died. Okay, my bad. It looked like it was going to make it out, but I guess... Because that's the dispersion circle, and I guess 2 just hit here, right at the end, when he was on the road. And they got him. No, he's not looking... I mean, that's very dead. There's no way that makes it out. How is that doing that? Okay, whatever. Oh, and the one that was coming over the top was the Apache, which could obviously see over the building. That was a bit weird. Oh, he's just monging out. You'd go on the chaparral if you're going to do that, but honestly you should just not do that because you saw 3 AA pieces shoot at you, so even if you killed one, it's not going to work. He's just diving a 50-point Engineer's Dragon. Oh, okay, he evac'd. He manually evac'd, it wasn't automatic. So yeah, it's just... you can see he's defending, and he's doing a good job. Like, he's got the flanking fire out, right? The flanking fire's good. He should aggressively counter-battery the smoke mortars so that his opponent can't do this, so that you can use your ATGMs. It's a lot harder to smoke now. Well, I mean, yeah, it is, if your opponent has the brains to counter-battery you. If he doesn't, which... Like, I've played against players who are, like, rank 50 and they don't counter-battery, and then they complain, oh, this arty rework ruined the game. It's like, you are thick as pig shit, mate. Anyway, yeah, if they don't counter battery, it's easier because the trajectory is narrower. Like, it doesn't take as long for the shells to land. But if they do counter battery, which they should be doing, and they will slowly learn to do, right? Just people learn at different rates and so on. Then you can't do this anymore, and then your ATGMs can actually do something. And so, winning the artillery, so a lot of people just never used smoke, and so it doesn't really matter for them that that's changed. But I think it is a good thing that it, like, I probably use smoke more than anybody else in this game. I think that's completely fair, actually. I mean, there's nobody I've played against who uses smoke more than me. And maybe there's some like 10v10 player somewhere who just buys smoke mortars and smokes all game. And so I was most impacted negatively by this change, and I think it was a good change. So, because it was just dumb that the mortars were, because basically if you queued a move order on this, because it had no setup time or anything, there was nothing you could do about it. There was literally nothing you could do apart from try and sneak a unit around. Well, good luck on this map. Like, how's that going to get around there? Or try and hit it with a plane, but even then it could move. It's now a lot easier to hit them with planes as well because they can't move anymore. You know, because of the pack-up time. And so it was dumb that was the case, and so I do like the change a lot. But yeah, the TOW 2s one-shot these. It's just enough to one-shot it. Although I suppose a Milan 2 would as well. So that's a big problem, as you might imagine. But most of his units do get smoke. As in smoke grenade launchers, so like, you can survive it with the smoke. What? Yeah, that was, bad, right? So we got a Bradley round here, apparently. Yeah, that was not good. But honestly, the way I see this, I haven't seen the game, but it really does just feel like it's just a matter of time. Because, so the way he's buying time is by, you know, losing planes to buy time. And obviously the enemy's gonna... You're gonna run out of planes before the enemy runs out of Bradleys and Abrams. If he's killing your plane every time, which he is. So... Like, he's doing a great delaying action, but you see, like, so that's been cleared out now. And, is he going on the AA? Come on, man. You know it's there. You pinged it. And it's not moved all game. It's just hitting... Because what you can do is put it on... Right, so this is obviously a big problem. Is he going to notice? I don't think he... Because it's not hit him yet. So he won't have got a notification. Right, so now he'll get the notification, but it died in one hit, one volley even. So yeah, he's noticing. But he doesn't get ATGM healers either. He gets those artillerados, which suck balls. So it's just such a... If it was on factory, he'd have a really good chance, because grenade launchers on factory, right? Although even then, I'd still rather be playing 24th. But on airport, his basically his best chance was to attack here. But now he can't because he's losing this point, and so there you go. So you can get the smoke mortars. And yeah, if you're in this building, you can jump in and get him. But the CEV will kill your infantry. Also, his CV in here is dead. He's not noticed. Well, no, he is noticing. But that won't even kill that. Yeah. So yeah, you would... Oh no! That's so unfortunate. So, yeah, he just wasn't paying attention. Oh, he could have killed this, or at least routed it, but now he's lost that, and now he's got to send in the next one, and... Man, this is tough. It's like, well, what do I do? Well, you just have to appreciate that the game is... It's based on counters and stuff, and sometimes, you know, you cast rock and your enemy casts paper. And that's why, at the high end, you just see the same divs over and over again, because generalist divs work very well in ranked and in tournaments, because, you know, they just work on more maps, in more matchups, so you can just pick them. And in order for the game to be interesting, well, some divs have to be very specific. And that just naturally means that sometimes you're just going to get countered. And I'd rather have it that way than the other way around. I speak to people who... basically, I get the thoughts from basically every Warno player downloaded into my brain because of the channel. Which, you know, I say leave a comment, let me know what you think. So it's not like, you know, I don't like that. It's just it does lead to some crossed wires in my head. I don't think human beings are meant to receive that much feedback just as a general level. Like, I like what I'm doing now, much prefer it to what I was doing before. But yeah, basically some people would advocate for essentially narrowing that band and bringing the extremes further in, because it is difficult to play, for example, first Lufty-Landy against Canada and they just air spam you. But I would argue that all you're doing there is just making the game more boring. But, like, you know, by design, that's the only thing you can do if you adopt that mindset. Because you're just bringing all of the... In order for the counters to not be as countering, if you just imagine the game as a spectrum, an autism spectrum, right? Then... if you bring in the counters, then obviously you're gonna... everything's just gonna become more samey. There's just gonna be less differences between the divisions. Fewer. So, yeah, Blue has lost. It's very sad. But it just comes down, and you know, he did a really good job like that. The Milan 2s he had with the flanking fire, he did hit the smoke mortars. You'll see they're dead. Well, you know, most of them. I think this is the last one. He had the infantry behind the buildings to pop out and arty, or, you know, sorry, hit him, whatever. He tried to get around the sides and stuff. But yeah, I'd swap out these things. I mean, obviously, as you can, it literally did nothing. If it was airborne forward deployment, maybe it'd make sense, right? Because those are the only ones I bring, the vehicle ones. And like, this is interesting. For whatever reason, this doesn't have a 50 cal on it. There is one like that somewhere that does have a 50 cal on its wheeled, and I think it's not a BMR, it's a different vehicle where it's got a 50 cal, it's wheeled, and it's got an ATGM. I can't remember which one it is. Or maybe that's just wrong, and it's just the tracked ones that are like that. So there's definitely tracked ones that do that. So yeah, he had the flanking fire, but basically the main mistake he made was at the start, where so what you can do is you can attack here, because you will, you know, with the helo and everything, if he doesn't open plane, you will get there first. And you get a smoke mortar and you start smoking it, but the point is you're not expecting to stay there. So you don't really reinforce it. Like, you might put a couple defensive ATGMs in, but the point is this is just to wind him up and drag all the guys that would have gone here round, which happened, and then you hit over here. And that's how you win on the map. So I've been playing 4th UK recently, which is a similar kind of free loss, and then you come up against, you know, rank 10 spamming out 5th Panzer, and it's like, well, you know, there's not much I can do about that. But this is the sort of thing I would do, which is I would rush here, shoot a bunch of smoke everywhere so they can't see, you know, get an AT infantry up to about here, or here, because the Grellios, yeah, they're great, but they don't have AT, so the tank can just drive in anyway, which is what happened. And then the main event would be on this side, right? This is a feint, so you can come over here. That's obviously, you know, it's like very hard on the execution. And yeah, you see he is trying stuff here, and then there is nobody there, but all his opponent has to do is just drag this blob this way, and because yeah, he has a huge ATGM advantage here. Honestly, if it was factory, the Bueno player could have won, because the Bradleys are kind of useless on factory. You can put them on those main roads going down and just leave them there and just shoot people as they come in, and that is effective. And the CEV is useful and the flash is useful, but the you know, Bueno gets like 10 billion grenade launchers, and that is not to be sniffed at. And these tanks have 50 cals, which makes them good against infantry, because the 50 cal does more damage than the tank gun does to infantry, you know, because of how fast it fires and so on. So yeah, he's trying to do something here, but I mean, I assume, yeah, I figured as much. Like this, he obviously, because a lot of this is like, well, why doesn't he surrender? Well, this is what he sees. So he's like, well, I've got about as many units as he does. But no, you don't. So there's all this back here, so yeah, it's rough. It is very frustrating, because yeah, you're just like, well, look, if they, you know, sometimes you get the bad side of the map, and you know, you lose a game because like the matchup's bad, or you get the bad side. He was on the better side actually, but I'm just speaking from my own experience. And it can be frustrating, and then you know, like, you know, you have a 40-minute game where you barely lose to somebody playing 79Y and you're 4th armored, and then they start message you in the Discord, you know, gloating basically, and it's like, congratulations, mate, you beat my shit div with your amazing div. Why are you being so toxic? But yeah, it's always sad to see Bueno. It is funny that it's called that. I should call it No Bueno. So yeah, rank 32. rank 59, so they're pretty similar ranks. And look, the win rate's very high. His win rate's, I think, higher, yeah. It's just because he plays more games, his rank will be higher, because if you have it above 50% win rate, well then, you know, you're going to, on average, you're going to gain elo, right? So I think he did a really good job given the circumstances, but it just came down to his strategy at the start. If he had attacked in the town, or done what I said, where you feint on the left and then you just hard swing over to the right, but that can be hard to do because you don't know when to invest and so on. Then he could have won. But yeah, get rid of those recoilless rifle jeeps. They're obviously not doing anything for you. Just put in the Milan ones or something. So this actually did more than I thought. It got an M109, which is great. And look, he got the self-propelled mortars and stuff. Um, yeah, Bueno, man. Tough div. And yeah, if you're going to do something like this, send that Pegasus AA with it. The one that you have, because we saw it. The self-propelled Pegasus AA. Pegasus Bitubo. Send, instead of two of these, well, it should be a Vec anyway, because these suck, but anyway, if you send the Bitubo, and then, obviously in an open fight, the Apache will win because it's got the range, but you hide on the reverse side of a forest or something, and try and bait him in, and then you hit him, and then you can kill an Apache with, 40-point unit or whatever, so... Anyway, I'll see you around, GG.